my main instrument is trumpet, and I started in middle school at Central Middle. But what made me want to play, I grew up around Southern University. I grew up going to Southern University football games, so I was always very familiar with the human jukebox. Watching them at football games, halftime shows, watching the parades, seeing the Bayou Classic, going to the Battle of the Bands. That was, like, I grew up playing football too, but watching the marching band was just as exciting, if not more.
But see, the thing that God has given me to help his people, and that's the biggest part, not only to play, but to help other people through music. You have to understand that whenever you do mess up or get something wrong, you have to learn from the mistakes that you made and build yourself up. You might take a couple steps back, but make sure you take more steps forward than you do back. It's just taught me how to just never give up. Sometimes I want to though, but it's music and life is bigger than me, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than anything. You have to learn how to just never give up and believe in you.
Welcome to another episode of the BRStem podcast. Our children need roots and wings. We're switching it up just a little bit for this episode. I'm Miles Lewis, and today I'll be joined by my good friend, AJ Nixon.
Yo.
Today we're talking about music, church, and everything in between. All right, AJ is my good friend. We grew up in church together, but we've kind of had differing experiences in the church. He grew up as a musician. Of course, you're the grandson of our pastor. You've definitely had, church has definitely been a significant part of your life and a significant part of your childhood. Could you talk about what it was like growing up in church for you?
You know, growing up in church, it was great. But you know, sometimes you want to step outside of church from time to time and do other things. Church has played a big part in my life. It has taught me discipline, it has encouraged me, has restored me, helped restore me, cultivate my gifts, and help me become a better person because church, not just the church, but the people in church, and of course God, Jesus. But it played a big part in my life as the person I am today. And what about you?
For me, well, first, of course, understanding my beliefs and learning my beliefs about Jesus Christ and my beliefs about how to live life, how to walk through life. That's always first and foremost. But church was also a place for community for me. And it was a place for me to help me kind of understand myself, understand my family, understand what I'm kind of supposed to be, the kind of person I'm supposed to be, and the way I'm supposed to walk throughout the world. You know, that was what church was for me and what it was supposed to be for me. It was also a place that I was constantly, I guess, working on my character.
Right.
So there is your religious beliefs, your theological beliefs. I think that it goes hand in hand with your morals and your character, but it's also in a separate place, right?
Yeah.
So church was for me to not only learn about what I believe theologically, but be what I believe a man's supposed to be and a person's supposed to be in the world, in school, on the street. That's what church was for me.
Yes. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. Wow. But speaking of church, did church play an impact on you like becoming a musician, or did it help you in a way?
Church was not the reason I became a musician, but it was one of the things that kept me inspired in music. It was one of the things that kept me passionate about music, and ended up being another gateway for me creatively. Sorry, it was a place for me to find myself in a different light in music and as a musician. What about you?
So, I ain't gonna lie, church is was the big reason why I love music. All the different sounds and different creativities, things you just pop out your head and start playing. You get to feel the groove, especially whenever you feel the spirit and God and stuff around. It's more of a feeling that you can't deny that is there, especially whenever things are going good. And it's like it's a blessing just to be in the atmosphere of a great church with great musicians and great music. Cause you go to a church and they could be skilled, but you can't feel anything. But the fact that we go to church, I grew up in church, we both grew up in church, that we're not only skilled, but we have that power to add that certain level of, you know, that oomph to it that makes the feeling, that makes the atmosphere just go up. And it's just the best thing I feel like ever. Just help me become better, help me become humble, because sometimes you get lifted up in pride whenever you're playing an instrument and you could get in your own head, but you gotta learn to be humble because just as good as God gave you the gift, He can also take it away. And I think people really forget that being humble goes a long way, and pride can destroy you. So you have to stay humble so you can elevate, and don't let the pride take you lower and destroy you.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that one. So like I said, I didn't start playing music in church. I started in school. So I was learning under, I guess, the classical tradition of music education. But when I actually started, I remember it was my birthday, my 14th birthday in 8th grade. I actually started playing in church. And what I got from it immediately was this was an opportunity for me to learn how to speak through music rather than just playing an instrument.
Yeah.
In school, in your school concert band, your school marching band, you learn how to play an instrument. But when you're doing it, let's say in church or even on the street in the community, it adds that cultural aspect, and it adds that it teaches you how to be yourself and understand yourself deeper, or sorry, you understand yourself deeper because you're speaking through your music. If that
Right.
makes sense.
Makes
You're
perfect
speaking
sense.
through something that's bigger and more vast, more wide, more vague than words. And you're saying things that words can never say.
Facts.
So that's why we have a feel within our music of the church. And that's why our music moves us more than what we hear on the radio. When we're in church, we can't stop moving. And then we start to feel the Holy Ghost, and it starts to move within us, and it starts to move throughout us, move from person to person, because again, it's just deeper than the notes and the words and the songs. Everything's within us. And I think also, I guess for me, it was a way for me to understand how to use my gift for God and how to, um, I guess, have communion with God within my instrument.
Right. Like a relationship.
Yes, it helped me build a deep relationship with God. Just, because the intention of doing everything for God, to speak through God, or to speak for God, and for God to speak through you,
Right.
for God to speak to you. Music became such a deeper thing to me from doing it in church.
And I totally feel that because sometimes sometimes I don't feel good at all, or I'm sick. Well, not sick, but like I'm just down in my body. And the only thing that could help me is whenever I get up and play the drums, and I just start to feel better. And it's one of those things that I can't explain, but it's just like that you need it. Like I feel like playing through your instrument, you start to feel better. It gives you an outlet, or it can recharge you, especially whenever you're doing it through God, through the right way, because it can help recharge you, give you that charge, give you that boost, and it'll help build you up. Can help build you up just as much. It can help it can help you turn it down. It can build you up and it can move you around, but you have to be, it has to be in a good headspace. You have to be in a good mindset, have to be good heart. Your heart has to be right. So things can be properly executed. So you won't mess up the flow of anything and mess up your blessing. Cause yeah.
Um, so you mentioned before the podcast that you have some extensive experience in marching band, right?
Yeah.
You marched at West Feliciana High School, correct?
Yes, sir.
Could you talk about your experience in that, and then I guess the dichotomy between being a church musician and then a marching band musician, and how that interacted within you?
All right, cool. So you said that you started doing band in school, right?
Correct.
I started doing band in church, and then after you did band in school, you started coming to play in the church.
Correct.
I started doing, I started playing music in church, but then I started going to school, so it kind of like switched. So me being, me going from playing in church to going to band was like, it was one of those things, like it was a different type of reality because I've always seen it, but I've never done it. So playing the marching band really helped me get better, cultivate my skills overall, because I'm not just playing the drum set, I'm learning different rudiments. I'm learning how to build stamina through marching for hours, playing for hours, learning different songs, and trying to get better at different instruments, air, tenor, bass, cymbals, quads. I started off as quads because quads was the closest thing to a drum set that they had, and it was comfortable for me. Besides it being heavy, because it was really heavy, especially during parade season, could not pick that up. But quads was like the closest thing to a drum set, and it just felt like home. And after that, I started playing more different instruments, and I started cultivating and building my craft. And whenever I did that in band, it transitioned to playing in church because I'm taking the skills that I learned from school and I'm adding it to what I'm already doing at church. So I'm not only being more skillful in band, but it's helped me develop in church and become a better musician. Now they it's like flip flop off each other, they bounces off each other. The better I get at band, the better I get at church. The better I play at church, the better I play at band. So it was just kind of like it was more just like feel like it was blending together, and it really just helped me become a better player, especially with the rudiments. Shout out to Mr. Garner because he stayed, made sure I learned my rudiments, sure, but it just helped me overall with my skill and my speed.
Okay. Do you feel like when you were marching that people could tell that you were a church musician?
By the way I would hit drums and buzz heads and break sticks, yeah, they probably knew I was a church musician. Definitely because of the amount of force I was putting on. All I've been taught to do when I was grew up was to play hard. It was just bang on the instrument. That's what I was taught to do till I got the band, and I was like, you don't have to play hard all the time. You play hard in the accent, but you have to learn how to finesse it. You don't have to play hard all the time and wear yourself out. You have to learn how to have control over the stick, over the amount of power that you put on the instrument. So that has helped me, but for the most part, yeah, they knew that I was a church musician.
I feel like whenever I'm out and I'm playing, and this could be in school or this could be at gigs or anywhere else, I can always tell when a drummer is a church drummer and a
Right.
gospel drummer because they just have such a natural feel to everything they do.
Facts.
Everything is so natural, everything is so free. It's just like they get it and they get everything and they can play any style because everything is just so free and so natural. Well, I guess the next question would be, how has marching helped you specifically? How has marching in the band helped you in church? like specific things, whether it's technically, and then how has marching in or playing in church help you in school and help you, I guess, in comparison to your classmates or your bandmates who weren't so they weren't in such a cultural setting growing up when it comes to music.
Uh, I guess definitely taught me to be disciplined for sure. And you have to, whenever you're in band, you want to make sure that you commit to whatever you're doing all the way. And it has helped me, especially in school, because I did want to do certain events, and I couldn't do certain events unless my grades were good. So I had to make sure I was doing at least what I was supposed to do so I can go to certain things. Yeah, the band helped me do better in school and high school. Well, a little bit in middle school. I was just doing stuff, I ain't gonna lie. But I did want to go to events, so I had to lock in whenever I felt like I needed to so I can go to certain events. Church, um, church helped me with the band and with school because it taught me how to not only be disciplined, but to learn how to have fun in a way, learn how to maneuver through life a certain way. Whenever you mess up, like sometimes you mess up. Sometimes I mess up playing drums, whether y'all see it or not. Sometimes I mess up, but you can't stop and restart. You have to keep going. So whenever you mess up, whenever I messed up in certain things in schools or in marching band, I can't stop. I have to keep going. It's life. Life doesn't stop. You have to keep going. Time, life stops for nobody. You have to understand that whenever you do mess up or get something wrong, you have to learn from the mistakes that you made and build yourself up. You might take a couple steps back, but make sure you take more steps forward than you do back. So it's just taught me how to just never give up. Sometimes I want to though, but it's music and life is bigger than me, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than anything. It's incomprehensible, but you have to learn how to just never give up and believe in you. How does music in a way make you feel, you know?
Um, that's a loaded question because my, I guess, relationship with music is that it is feeling,
Right.
and I feel through everything that I listen to, everything that I play. Um, if you go through um my music catalog, my playlist, it's a whole bunch of music from a whole bunch of styles and a whole bunch of meanings. I have things that I could feel all my emotions to, and then I could relate all my emotions to. It's not really so much about how music makes me feel, or it's like music just is feeling, you know? Music is just a representation of experience.
Right. I get that because you you can't even just listen to music and not feel something. If you don't feel nothing while you listen to music, maybe just a little tap on the foot. I don't know, cause
Find someone to listen to.
facts. Cause music is everywhere. Music is a universal language that even if nobody understands what you're saying, music just translate.
Music is a universal language.
Is a universal language. Michael Jackson, one of the or the greatest musicians to ever live, went all around the world. People knew him all around the world through his music. Gospel artists, people in gospel R&B learn from gospel music, and they got a feel for it. Even though they made it to something else, it still has their roots. Music is deeper than anything that I can describe, can explain. It's beautiful, but it can also destroy you at the same time, depending on what you're listening to, because you it, it moves through you. Your words are powerful, and words with rhythm, because rhythm moves you. So powerful words and the catchy rhythm can make you do almost anything.
And if you're not careful, music will influence you in ways that you don't realize till it's too late. Yeah, I'm saying, if you don't realize, you're not careful, music will influence you in ways that you're not realizing until it's too late, you know?
Yeah.
And you're allowing yourself to feel through music. But if you're not being careful, if you're not being vigilant, to
Yeah.
what you're listening to and who you're letting speak to you, you'll allow yourself to hear things that it's not wrong. It's not right. You don't believe,
Right.
but you become vulnerable.
Facts. Because music can make you vulnerable.
Right.
For sure. That's why I don't listen to rap like that anymore. Because I would be cool putting some rap music. I'm ready to beat somebody up. Cause it'll turn into something else, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. Our grandparents used to tell us when we were young, music carries spirits.
Yeah.
And when I was young, I definitely was, I'd say I didn't believe it, but I didn't understand it so much.
Right.
And, I can enjoy music and I can even understand it. But the more I dug in and the more I gave myself to it and the more I allowed myself to feel through it, then I started to see myself, watch myself be influenced, watch myself operate in the ways that the artists we listen to are telling me to operate,
Yeah, that's why our people always want us to pretty much listen to gospel music, because that the feeling of God gets in your ears and your ear gates and your eye gates. Well, it gets in your spirit. So you have to let the good things align within your heart, so it could go through you in a positive way. So all that rap music, that's why that's why they might have a lot of people killing each other. That rap music influences them, or to go do some unholy behavior. It influences, or if you're already doing something when you're listening to music, it not only influences you, it magnifies how you already feel and builds on top of what you're going to do. So it it multiplies the feeling whenever you're listening to music. So whenever I'm in church and it's already good, the spirit is good, and then some music comes to it, it's not only influencing it, but it's amplifying and magnifying the feel of what's going on in church. So you have to make sure you're listening to things that are aligning with God.
If we can switch directions real quick, what I want to ask you is what music, whether it be musicians, bands, or just places that you heard, what music influenced you to become the musician you are today? And how do you see those influence manifest in yourself as a musician?
That's a deep question, man. Oh, gotta think about that one. So I guess in a way, when it comes to like all those different genres of music, I mainly look at different people when it comes to playing in church. I look up different people and how they would play a certain song, or how they'll do a certain lick, or just start to go off doing whatever. I'm like, man, how can I do that? So I would slow it down and try to see what they would do, and I would try to copy it, or I just listen from ear and try to do it like they did it in the song or in the video. But band, it's the same thing. Like, if I'm being taught something and I don't understand, they'll break it down for me, or I look on the video on how to do it. Or if I learn a certain cadence, me and JT, we always would try to watch videos and mimic what's being played so we can play it out during the stance or marching or in the field. And it inspires me and makes me become a better musician, because I'm not only learning how to pick up the skills, but I'm learning how to turn the skills into my own and make those things my own, put my own twist to it. So it gives me a feel for what I'm doing because I'm not only learning, but I'm creating. Music is not only about learning, but it's a feeling, and everything's it's like creative. It's an art, like just like painting or whatever. Music is it's a creative art. So, what about you?
Um, I can talk about my influences and how that transformed me into the musician that I slowly will become. So I started, I didn't say this earlier, so my main instrument is trumpet. And I started in middle school at Central Middle. But what made me want to play, I grew up around Southern University. I grew up going to Southern University football games. So I was always very familiar with the human jukebox, watching them at football games, halftime shows, watching the parades, seeing the Bayou Classic, going to the Battle of the Bands. That was like I grew up playing football too, but watching the marching band was just as exciting, if not more. So when I started playing and I would go to the football games on the weekends, that's what kept me excited.
Mm.
And when school band would get really boring, we thinking in class like, I need to find something else to do. And on the weekends, we go to another Southern football game. Like, can we sit about a band this week? We can sit about a band. Time show from recording a live time show, and I'm saying, well, look what they doing. Look what the drum major doing. Oh, I know that song. That's what. And I go back to class that week, and I try to learn some of the songs the band played. And I'd be sitting in the band room just playing them by myself, and that kept me interested. Actually, I can remember this specifically. I had a friend. His name was Christian, and he actually marches at Texas Southern now. He plays tuba. When we were in middle school together, we played trumpet. And we would learn some of the band songs that we heard someone play. And we would play them together in the band room in school. I wasn't, at this point, I was going to Zachary, I was going to Northwestern Middle. And this wasn't so much of a black band program.
Yeah.
So it was only a couple of us that were really inspired by Southern University and other HBCU band programs. So that was kind of a connection we shared coming up.
Yeah.
And it's full circle now that, sometimes I see videos of him playing Texas Southern, or like we see each other at battle. We saw each other at battles a couple times. Like that's a full circle moment. Going to the course church, not so much of how I play, but how music speaks to me and how I speak through music. That's always going to be important to me. It's always going to be important that I'm never just playing, but I'm speaking when I play.
Right.
I'm never just playing, but I'm having communion with God when I play.
Yeah.
That's always going to be important to me as a musician, especially when I'm veering off into different styles. I'm doing that, I'm talking about different things, but I'm still speaking. I'm not just playing. The biggest thing is I'm never just playing for me.
Right.
And that's probably the biggest thing I learned from church. When we're at church, we're playing for each other and we're playing for God. And that's how it becomes a thing of communion, a thing of community, and a thing of praise. So whenever I play, I'm never just playing for me. I'm never playing for my ego.
Thanks.
And I think that's what gets me past my peers. That's what people can remember about me. Because it's been many times when I'm playing, it could be jazz music, it could be anything. And people come to me after the show and tell me, I really feel something when you play. When you play, you really I felt something deep inside of you. You spoke to me. And that's because when we're playing in church, we're never just playing for ourselves, and we're never playing for our ego. We're playing so that we can speak,
It really, really cultivates the gift that's inside of you already, and it builds and it magnifies the gift that you already have. And like you said, music now it speaks through you, and creatively enough, it can speak to everybody else, even though you're not saying anything with your words. You're saying everything through your music. And sometimes that could bring people out. That could help out somebody. That could make them um cry because they need to cry, that can make them feel better, because music is a form of passion. It's a feeling. So if you can bring a positive feeling through your music, then it can have a positive effect on everybody that you touch.
And I think that's a very important point. As musicians, we should always be cautious of what we're trying to say and then how we're speaking to people through our music and where we're bringing people. As some of you may know, I've done a couple summer contracts as a musician at Cedar Point. You've never heard of Cedar Point? It's a theme park in Ohio, and I've done a couple of their different shows, and those shows look like many different things. Last summer when I was there, I had a coworker who was an acrobat. His name was Sebastian, and he's originally from South America, I believe, specifically Colombia, but I'm not really sure. I remember after one of my shows, he walked up to me, we were just talking, and he says, Miles, you really make me feel something when you play. It reminds me of home. I'm sure he's thousands and thousands, because we're in Sandusky, Ohio, and he's from South America. We're thousands away from Miles, from his home. He told me, when I hear you play, it reminds me of home. And that touched me really deeply, because when I was playing, it wasn't even something like original. I was playing a transcribed solo from another band. I was just giving my all to it and giving all my soul to it. And for it to touch somebody so deeply that it reminds them of home, that really brought a new excitement and a refreshed excitement for me playing. And, I was doing the same shows every night. So, of course, that gets mundane. And something like that, a conversation like that, it really just refreshes me to keep playing and to keep putting my all to it every show, every night.
Yeah, that's a man. I felt that through while you was talking, man. I was like, man, I wish I was there to see that, man. But I can recall a couple of times that whenever I'm playing in church, and the spirit gets high, and it's like sometimes you don't even you're not even thinking about playing. You're just doing it because you're just feeling the music. Whatever's in you is going to eventually come out. So me being on the drums, and I just tapped in and just didn't think about it anymore. I just started going, and you can definitely you could definitely tell whenever I just zone out and just start going, and people will come to me and be like, "Man, I don't know, you play. It's just something different about how you play, and different from other drummers. I done seen a lot of drummers, heard a lot of drummers, but none of them play like you." And I hear that a lot, and it makes me want to do better, makes me want to cultivate my gift more, because other people not only see the skill, but see the thing that God has given me to help his people. And that's the biggest part, not only to play, but to help other people through music. Like you said, speaking through music. Some things can't be said by words. So it's said by feeling, said by a beat, said by a note, said by a dance, said by a song. Is just different. And once you have that feeling inside of you, especially whenever you're doing something that you love, you put your all into it, and you know that gift come from God, you humble about it. It's almost immediate that somebody is going to recognize it, and somebody is going to feel something. And it'll be like, if you don't play, that feeling isn't there, because you bring that. We bring that. So if it's not there, it just kind of feels like, well, it's good, but where's the feeling at? So whenever you brought that, makes you feel like home, you brought a certain feeling or a certain emotion, a certain passion to that person, to make them realize, I haven't felt like this since I've been at home. The fact that you're playing like that makes you feel at home. I really feel this. That's it's beautiful, man.
There's a famous Miles Davis quote that I'm going to paraphrase. Anybody can play a note. What matters is the attitude behind the person playing it. It was a little less PG than that, but
Hey,
and, that's what made Miles Davis special. And Miles Davis is a musician that I resonate with and I try to learn a lot from. And what made Miles Davis special is the intent behind everything he played. And I take that, and again, what the lessons I've learned from being a church musician, I take that with me everywhere I go. Even when I warm up every day, when I'm playing my long tones and my scales, I'm thinking, how beautiful can I make it? What am I trying to say when I'm playing just these simple melodies in my room? How deep am I trying to make this music when I play? And you never forget that.
right. Because whenever you have a certain attitude, they can definitely tell it through whenever you play.
Say it when you don't.
Yeah, most musicians, that even non-musicians will understand and realize this dude ain't putting nothing into this. He just playing it. It sound good, but I don't feel anything. And it could be a musician that's not even as skilled as us, but they could be putting their all into it. And they like, man, this dude might not be the most skilled, but he's going crazy. He's putting all this all into it. And your intent and your attitude behind the music can be felt. So you have to be careful on how your heart posture is before you're going out and playing, either in front of a congregation, church, in front of um a band on a field, you a solo like you be doing. And when I see you play, I'm like, man, this dude is bringing out positive vibes, positive energy through how you play, because it's the intent behind it. And I never see you do anything and you're not giving 100%. So that's the beautiful thing about watching you play, because whenever you're playing, you're giving it your all with good intention behind it.
Somebody needs that. Somebody walked in a church, walked in a show, and they have something in their heart, or maybe they have a hole in their heart and they need something to fill it. They might not be looking for anything. They might just want to hear something. But every time I touch the horn, it's 100% because somebody listening might need that. Somebody listening might need to be reminded of home. Might need to be reminded of somebody special in their life. I'm always looking to touch people. You know, mm, one of your questions you have on here is, do you plan on doing music, I guess, in the future for the rest of your life? What does music look like past today, in the later years of your life, past school, maybe? I guess when you plan on getting married or having kids, what will music look like in your life then?
Man, give me all these beautiful questions. Give me questions to think about. Man, well, music for the rest of my life will always be a feeling of joy. I always want to make sure that whatever I do in the future, or whoever I'm playing with, or whatever I play, I always make sure that I have good intentions behind what I'm playing. And I always want to make other people feel better, or feel motivated, or feel loved, or be able to make them express themselves. I always want that through Jesus, of course. I always want to make people feel better than when they came, and music can inspire you to do better. When I'm saying, when I'm actually doing this for the rest of your life, to me, it's like, do I want my music to inspire people for the rest of my life, or how I'm playing the instrument? And the answer is yeah, because I don't think I could do it better any other way than through my music or through my instrument. Could and a lot of people ask if I could teach them how to play, or they'll just learn from me, or they'll try to mimic what I do, or they'll be in awe. And that's the beauty behind it. Because if people are not only watching you, but or inspired by you, but want to do what you do because you're a positive effect. And being a positive effect through my music is something I would like to do for the rest of my life.
A lot of musicians or musicians, when they have kids, try their best to they try their best to get their kids into music. They'll have their kids pick up an instrument as young as possible and have them in lessons. And I think that's great, but sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
Sometimes being a musician isn't everyone's calling. It isn't even the son or daughter of a musician's calling.
yeah,
But, even if not, what I want to do as a parent is help my kids understand the world through music and understand themselves through music.
right,
Even if they don't end up being a trumpet player or a pianist, like I want them to have a true relationship with music so they can better understand themselves, understand the world, understand the people around them, understand God. Um, the other thing that I want music to look like in my life as an adult is I want to keep kids playing. You know,
yeah,
I want to keep kids learning music, and I want to inspire kids to want to know music in different ways from the past or even through current popular music. I want kids to be inspired to do it. I know when I was in middle school, it wasn't so cool to be in band. And sometimes, like, I'll say, like, for real, when I was in 7th grade, I never brought my trumpet home because I didn't want nobody to see me carrying that case on the bus and be like, "Oh yeah, Miles in the band. He ain't no football player. He ain't no track star. He's in the band." And I was embarrassed by it, but want the kids I'm around, the kids I'm teaching, to be embarrassed to be a musician, to be embarrassed to find music beautiful, and that's how you help understand yourself, and that's how you touch people. And it's always deeper than that. It's always deeper than you know just walking around with the big clunky case.
right,
It's always deeper than just playing rap songs in school marching band. It's you're always looking to understand people, understand the world, how to touch people. So that's definitely a big aspiration of mine going into my adulthood.
yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Now, when I was in middle school, marching band used to be the stuff. He was a marching band. They all used to think he was cool, especially because it was more. When you was in middle school, was it more HBCU or was it like?
So we didn't march when I was in middle school.
Yeah, but it was more HBCU bound in middle school, so we was playing all of it, and then it was majority of us in there. Only a couple of um white people were in the band. And but even with them, they still had that funk because we bring the culture, so we just take it up. So me being in band, it was a really beautiful thing, especially in my middle school years. High school years, it was all right, but middle school, it was just it was great. We went a lot of places. We went to the dome. That was like we won the championship in the dome. We was the first band that ever performed on the field in the dome at our school, and I was in 6th grade. That was my first year playing in the band, and I was on that field. That was just a real moment. That's a moment I will never ever forget because we were the first to do it, and we were cool. It was cool to do it, and especially getting called out in class. That was the best thing. There'll be times I do like when they got called out of class, man, I'm in the middle of a test, I'm in the middle of assignment, I'm finna go to sleep. Intercom, ding, can the band, can the middle school band please come to the bus station? I'll pack my stuff up so quick and leave out there. Man, that was the that was the best part, being in the band after you get out of class. And I loved it every single time.
So is there anything else to this topic or to what we discussed today that you want to close out? the podcast with?
One, I would like to give a message, and I would like to tell people to always be humble with everything you do. But if you're playing an instrument, please always be humble, and with being humble, cultivate your gifts and your skills, and always pray to ask God to help you. But not only that, also put in the work to become better, because faith without works is dead. So you want to be able to make sure that you're putting in work, and you're asking God for help at the same time, and to always make sure that whenever you playing your instrument or playing music or whatever you're doing, that you want to be out there helping inspire and move people through your music in a positive way.
Is there a person or a band either of y'all would love to be able to?
Questlove. Oh, how much time we got? Questlove. So I don't know how familiar viewers are with the Soulquarian movement, but Questlove is probably one of the most important figures when it comes to creating what we now like to call neo soul. That's more of a radio term,
Right.
but Questlove. Without Questlove, we wouldn't have a lot of the music for like D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, whole bunch. Questlove was a founding member of the Roots. Without him, we wouldn't have a lot of the music that we still enjoy so much today, as we learn from so much today. And I'm not saying he like created these artists or he put these artists on, but his creativity and his research is so foundational to the music that I love, to music a lot of my peers love. And I could learn so much from him. Another person to that point is Robert Glasper. And again, these two people are two people that I would love to learn so much from when it comes to jazz, soul, the blues, all of that, and how that intertwines together. And so all the music that we listen to and enjoy today.
Mine would probably be Kurt Franklin and Ty Trippett. One, Kurt Franklin has revolutionized the gospel music game and has transformed it. He put it in a way that young people, old people can all get into it, any age group. And I like to play behind that through the fact that I love gospel music. I mostly love older gospel music because it hits different for me. Ty Trippett, because I like his music. I like how it sounds. I like how he brings a certain feel to it. I like the energy that he brings behind it for sure, because he's very rowdy. Kurt Franklin is also rowdy, but Ty Trippett like very rowdy. It's amazing to see him sing or make music or sing, and also inspire people through music, through Jesus.
The last thing I want to say is thank you for coming. Thank you for organizing this. I think I enjoyed our conversation. I think our viewers are going to enjoy this conversation, and I think they're going to take something home from it.
Yeah, thanks.
And thank you to the viewers. And, have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah. Please like, comment, and subscribe, you guys.